Good morning everybody, welcome to a fancy video where I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make renders, which, if you don't know what renders are, they're these things which are on screen right now, basically Minecraft characters, which you make in Cinema 4D. You can make it in other programs, but I use Cinema 4D, and this tutorial is going to be based around Cinema 4D. So if you use stuff like Blender, I'm not going to be able to help you too much, because I don't know how to work that stuff. Alright, so first of all, to get rigs and stuff, you can just download them from other websites. Usually YouTube will have a bunch of different videos showing rigs you can use. I use an FMR 5.0 edit. FMR 5.0 is a base rig, which is made by Frost. X21 I think his username is. It is an incredibly good rig base. If you're just getting started, I guarantee this will be the best rig to start with. I'll put all the stuff in the description that you need. I made a folder in my C drive, which I have to go see. Cinema 4D stuff. There we go. That's what it is. And if it'll open eventually, I have a very slow computer. There's all my rigs and stuff. As you can see, a lot of rigs. So you go to get to that, you go to Window, Content Browser, Computer, C drive, Cinema 4D stuff, and then I'm going to be opening FMR 5.0 Revix Edit, which I'll put that in the description as well if you want to use this edit. It's just the current one that I'm using. I've used other edits before, but this is my favorite so far. It starts with a skin on it. So first of all, you want to go down to the skin area and then change it to something, whatever skin you want to make a render of, basically. Here's all that stuff. Gonna probably have to blur that because there's a secret project. So I have a whole folder dedicated to Minecraft skins, which if it opens, then you'll be able to see. There we go. Here's all I have a lot of Minecraft skins, as you can see. I don't know who to actually do. I guess I'll do Flop. He seems like a pretty good guy to make a render of. There we go. Flop. I already have one of them, but it's a pretty basic skin. Alright, so this is his skin. As you can see, it's a little, the edges are a little smooth. I do not like that personally because it looks kind of wonky when you extrude it. So turn that off in this rig. Not all rigs have this, just this one in particular that I've used. You go to the new function, and then all these subdivisions, and you just disable everything. And then you're back to your normal blocky-like body. Alright, so what we're going to start off with is, it's important, oh geez, where am I going? Okay, to go to layers and then unlock the 5.0 body tab, and that lets you interact with this more, because although I see all these options, if you have it locked, you can't interact with them, which is important if you're wanting to extrude anything. You're going to have to interact with them. Alright, so you can turn feed off because I like having it off to begin with. Let's see, here's a bunch of options you're going to need to know. This stuff is not important. These colors do not affect the eyes on this rig if it's doubled. If it's single, which is here, then the color's affected, but if it's doubled, they did something fancy where you're going to have to use the V2 section. Let's move the eyes up a bit so I can see it. There we go. So these are what the eye colors should be. As you can see, it's a little dark at the top, so click here. There's a color picker, but and you can just like click it and then put there and then get the exact color. But for some reason, my Cinema 4D is a little broken. It'll just go to a complete black screen when I try to use the color picker. So I just have to kind of guesstimate what colors look like, to be honest. So it doesn't always work out too well, really, but it's kind of close. A little darker though. Okay, 220, 34, 41. 220, 34, 41. Oh, thanks for streaming, Scotty. And that's equal. So, okay. And then 220, 34, 41. 220, 34, 41. 220, 34, 41. There we go. And then from this I can make it a lot lighter. 220, 34, 60, and 60. There we go. And it has a fancy gradient kind of thing going on, which I like. Now we can move on to the eyebrows, which there's 3 different options for eyebrows on this rig. Here, well, I guess there's 4 because there's the male one, which is just this. There's female, which is that, which is on a lot of female skins. Then you can also use the Eyebrows V1, which is a very angry looking eyebrow, which sticks out a ton. It's alright, I guess. I wouldn't use it on all rigs. It's just kind of a situational kind of eyebrow. And then there's one that I use for almost all my rigs, which is Eyebrow V2, which is the right size, and it does really well at displaying emotions. Like these different squares. The purple one, it moves it up and down. You can also do that with it. And then this one, it's a bending thing, which is really good for showing motions. If you can have both of them at once and they'll move together. Which, to get both of them at once, you click one, then shift click another one, and then you select both of them. That is not the right color though for his eyebrows, so I'm going to lighten it up a bit. Yeah, that's a little bit closer to his color. Alright. Now, let's just get that out of the way. For the next part, you're going to want to have a faceless version of your skin, which in Photoshop or Paint on Net, you basically open it up and then delete the eyes and mouth and eyebrows if you have them on your skin. So if I search flop, once it searches, I've got a lot of skins in the folder, so it takes a long time to get to it. There we go. You see flop V2 and the flop V2 faceless, which I just got rid of his eyes, mouth. As you can see, the eyes, mouth, and eyebrow are gone. Well, you can't see the eyes, but you can take my word for it. If I move it up, the eyes are not there anymore. Alright, so that's just for later on. You're going to need that. So for the mesh head, this is an important part. See the 2 red circles here? You're going to want to click both of them, and then make sure you're clicked on it, and then go to the Polygons tool. And as you can see, it opens polygons. But you can see the top part, it's a little hidden because of these, the taper and bulge. So you shift click them and then move them to head attachments. You're going to want to put them back afterwards, so that's why I'm putting them in head attachments so I don't lose them. Head attach, mesh head, okay. So you can see all the polygons here. You're going to want to select the ones that you want to extrude. So you go to the live selection tool, and then you just kind of select them all. You can change the size of it by using the middle mouse button or the scroll wheel, and holding it down and then moving it changes the size, and then holding shift and going over it will select it all. And if you want to unselect something, or deselect is the proper word, you control and then hold control and then do that. And then say you got some skin and it's like, oh, I didn't want that, control click, and it gets rid of it. Alright. Also, to hide the body, if you're wanting to extrude or to select the stuff under the head, like on the bottom side, you click on a mesh area and double click on that, and that's gone. You don't have to click the bottom one, that hides it in the render. The top one hides it in the editor. Alright, so back on this, and then shift click on all of these, and I think I've got it all selected. So then you're going to want to press U, and it brings up these, as you can see, UI in succession like that, and it reverses it, so you're selecting, oh, never mind, Control Z, I forgot one pixel there, okay, UI, as you just want to check over it to make sure you got all of the hair. No hair should be selected at this point, and it looks fine to me. So now that you're on the opposite, you just delete. Press the delete key, and it deletes everything there. Alright, so now we only have the hair that's able to be selected. And as you can see here, it kind of tapers off like that. The reason you can't extrude this part immediately is because if you press D to go to the extrude tool. For normal, you have maximum angle of 91, and the offset is 0 centimeters. So let's go to just 3. As you can see, it has this really gross kind of curve thing on it. I don't know how to explain that. It's really not nice. So what you're going to want to do is U and then L brings you to the loop selection, and then you just select as much as you can that doesn't get cut off like that. So you want all the polygons to be connected to each other, otherwise it gets that weird kind of thing going on. And then you extrude that by whatever you're doing. I'm going to be extruding by 3 centimeters. And then you separately do this by 3 centimeters. Alternatively, I'll just undo all that. You can do this and then do it by 89-degree angle, which will do this, and it won't connect it at all. And then you can click it again there by 89 or 90, it doesn't matter, and then it's connected like that. So that works. You can do it like that. I'm not going to be doing it like that though. I'm going to be doing 91 just because this is a lot easier and it saves a lot of time. Then you go under here, and are these connected? They sure are. Okay. And just select all that. Yeah. And then 3. And that's his hair done. At least the first layer of his hair. Which I think it looks pretty alright. So then you go to the mesh hat and see the 2 red circles. You click them, and there you go. And then you go to the Polygons tool, and you can't see it because the mesh hat is hiding it. So you just double click on that to get rid of the mesh head, and you're on mesh hat and you can see it. Then you have to do the same thing with the mesh head. Basically just find the stuff that you want to extrude, which is everything in this case, which is not a lot, and then you just delete everything else. There we go. As you can see, this has a kind of thing where it's like that as well. So let's just bring this out. Actually, now that we're done with this, we can bring the taper and bulge back before we extrude. It just helps to show what it's going to look like after you're done. So as you can see, it's already kind of sticking out a bit. So I do not want that personally. So I'm going to select it and then just, let's see here, bring it down a bit. There we go. And now extrude it by 89, and let's just go with 4. And then do this by 89 to connect it up. There we go. Right on. And just to want to make it stick out a little bit more, so put it by 91, and then I guess 0.5. Yeah. Alright. There we go. There's the hair done. Pretty good. And now you can you can bring the mesh back. Now you can do the same thing that you did to the mesh, but to the head. Just double click the top circle, and it looks a little creepy now. But to show all of this body, you can't hide the arms at all, so you're gonna have to select the top thing, top little selector thing, and then just move it over. And you can move it back by clicking it. It shows the chords and the X. If you put that to 0, it puts it back to its original spot. So you can move it wherever you want, and it'll just go back. Click on the body. You don't have to do any unlocking things for the body at all. So you go to the Polygons tool and just loop selection, the whole area, because it's just a t-shirt, so nothing special has to happen. There is a logo on it, but that does not need to be extruded, I don't think. So let's just do it by 1.5. Seems like a fairly normal size to extrude it by. And then extrude the top. Be sure not to get any of the skin, because it'd look a little wonky to extrude some of the skin there. And if you just mess up, just keep in mind you can control click it and it'll be gone. And extrude that by 1.5. And there's the body done. And then just do the exact same thing to the arms. 1.5. And 1.5 over here. There we go. Oh, that's not, oh, there we go, enter. You can also do like sleeve, like rolled up kind of sleeves, which is, you can just do 1 or 2 and extrude them by like 0.5. If you want, it doesn't always, I don't think it always works on all skins, but I'll do it on this just as an example of what it'll look like. Alright, now that that's done, I can put it back to 0 and 0. Alright, and now we're on the pants. The belt here is going to be above the pants. So I'll extrude this by 1. And the belt buckle by, actually no, I'll extrude this by 0.5. And the belt buckle by 0.5. Same thing on this side. 0.5 and 0.5. Alright, now onto the shoes. I'm not actually going to be extruding the pants at all because I don't think it needs to be extruded personally. So you just select all the shoes and then extrude it by, let's say 2. And then the bottom and the little white spot here by 1. There we go. And the same thing over here, 2 and 1. So 2 and 1. You can also extrude under the shoe, but for me, I don't really do that often because it makes the rig a lot taller, which I like to have all my rigs pretty much the same height. So, alright, after you've done that, you can bring the head back by clicking the red circle or orange. I don't really know what color that is. I'm a little colorblind apparently. But there you go. There is your rig all extruded up. So now I'm going to show you the features of this. So just put that away, and double clicking it will name it Flap V2. Alright. I already have a Flap V2, so I'm actually going to name that Flap Tutorial. There we go. Alright, so now you lock it back up going to Layers tab and then doing that, because it's a little hard to actually maneuver the finer things if you have it locked. And you're not gonna need to extrude anything else anymore, so there's no reason for it to be open anymore or unlocked. For these, the eyes, you cannot move them like you used to in other ones. You have to use this, or one of these uses. There you go. These two. This one moves the left eye, and this one moves the right eye. So you can make wonky faces if you want. Eyebrows, I showed you. Move them together, and then here you can move them together. Now the 6 little triangles around the eyes, you can move them. They just make the eye look interesting, I guess. They help to convey any kind of emotion you're trying to go for. So there we go. Move them up, and then the eyebrows. There we go. And the mouth for Flop is actually a little bit to the side. So which one of these moves it to the side? There you go, this one. You can move it to the side a bit, which is really helpful because a lot of skins have mouths that aren't in the middle. They're a little bit off to the side. Let's see here. So this one, you can make the mouth wider or thinner, and if you move it up, then it opens. As you can see, I'm gonna have it really wide because I don't know. And then this one makes it happy or sad. I'll just make it a little happy. And then with the squares here, you can individually move little parts. So if you want, you can just go like that, you know? I think this looks kind of wonky, but you know, we'll stick with it. Yeah, it doesn't look great. That looks pretty bad actually, but whatever, we'll stick with it. There's all the face done, and then this one, if you're on the moving tool, you move the head. But if you're on the rotating tool, you can rotate the head however you want, really. Alright, this one moves the whole arm. If you're in the move tool, just rips the arm off. Here, most of the things you have to actually interact with the rotate tool, otherwise it won't do anything. The rotate tool for the wrist, as you can see, is a wrist. You can move however you want. This is the twist, which it adds a bit of a twist to it, which is really, really handy actually. And this is just the goal arm, which moves the whole arm. But if you're on the move tool, it goes like this, and it doesn't just rip off. There we go. Oh jeez. Don't over twist it, otherwise that'll happen. You can just Control Z and bring it back. There we go. This, it moves body like that. This is just the hips. Up. There you go. And this is the whole body like that. Kind of hard to explain it, but you can see what's going on, so I think that works enough. This one, it tilts, or it does this, and then if you're in the move tool, it goes like this. And there is stretch in this. I don't like using stretch, but it's in the legs and the arms. If you overstretch it, it stretches out. And then there's a ankle here, which if you tilt it or rotate it, it's like the wrist. You can move it wherever you want. There we go. Now let's, I think actually gonna move it a bit. Just positioning everything. Really great render right now, but okay, there we go. Alright, so you're gonna go to Edit Render Settings. And these are just the settings I use. Save it. Just copy the stuff in here. I like to make it a 16-bit channel, but I have it on 8-bit. Whatever. You can change that once you actually save it. Alpha channel you want to have enabled, otherwise it will not have a transparent background, which you're gonna want to have. Multipass don't have it on. Anti-aliasing, all this stuff. I think a lot of this is just default, but copy it just in case. All this stuff, you can pause it on the screen. It's helpful. Team render, yeah. Ambient occlusion. I think ambient occlusion and global illumination, you have to actually add them in. So you go to effect, and then they're in this area. I don't think I can add them again because I already have them, but they will be in the effect area. Ambient occlusion, you're going to want to have these settings. I like to actually make it a little bit darker. It adds some shadow, makes it look a lot nicer. And global illumination, just copy all this stuff. Alright, so I also have a Lightroom. Just putting that out there. A Lightroom, that's why it's all orange. You will not have an orange background most likely. I think this is Finn's Graphics, his Lightroom, I'm pretty sure. If I'm right, I'll put it in the link. I'll link it in the description. If I'm not, then dang. I can't really help you too much, but it is helpful to have a Lightroom. It makes your renders a lot better. If you can't make one yourself, just try to Google it. There's a lot of Lightrooms out there. You could get one. And then render view, you click this, and it shows what the render is going to look like. But you don't need to do that, because if you rendered a picture viewer, it does the exact same thing, but you can save it. So I'm just going to skip. I'm going to zoom ahead because my computer's slow, so it'll take a bit to render this. Alright, there we go. It's not good, but it looks alright. That's all that matters. It looks fine. So once it's done rendering, as you can see, it's a green dot, so that means it's done. Render time took 53 seconds. If you go to File, Save, oh, not Open, well, just get rid of that. File, Save As, PNG 16-bit, make sure Alpha Channel is clicked on, and OK. And then you go to wherever you're saving them. So I'm saving them in my F drive, renders, and flop tutorial. There we go. And you have a render saved. And I'll put it on screen now. So that's it. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. I'll reply to them and answer them to my best of knowledge. But that's it. So I hope you all have a nice day, and I hope this really helped you, and I hope you can make some really awesome renders. So have a nice day, and goodbye.